Returning to normal as Michigan emerges from the pandemic. Many people are back in the office or taking part in social events for the first time in more than a year. And for a lot of people, that can be a source of anxiety. Joining us now with advice on how to manage that stress is Emily Mandigo, clinical supervisor of Day 1 at Oakland Family Services. Emily, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me to talk about this topic.
You're quite welcome. First of all, tell us a little bit about Day 1 and the work you do there.
So we are an outpatient therapy department. We see a wide range of disorders from anxiety, depression, just adjusting to change, substance use, whatever kind of someone's struggling with, we can see.
All right. And so what do you say to someone who, for instance, has been vaccinated, but might still be uncomfortable being in larger groups? I mean, have you seen that? And if so, what advice are you giving people?
We have been seeing that. And it's making that game plan, having that positive self-talk of, I can do this, I can get through this, I'm going to enjoy this. And also having talk around how we can talk to people if they are getting too close to us, how we can set up boundaries around that if we're feeling uncomfortable.
All right, so you're trying to give people tools to equip them to handle these situations?
Exactly.
All right, well, what are some of the ways that people can ease themselves back into situations that they may find uncomfortable?
So starting with some of those more pleasurable activities, maybe an outing with friends or before something that you have to feel like you have to do. So enjoyable activities and noticing where your limits are, noticing that when you are feeling overwhelmed, what can you do? Can you kind of step aside, take some deep breaths, go to the bathroom? What are some of those things that you can do to ease yourself when you're feeling uncomfortable?
All right, and a profound source of anxiety for some parents will be exposing their kids as the world sort of opens up. Kids are often too young to be vaccinated, anyone under the age of 12. What advice are you giving parents about how to talk to their kids and advice for parents sending their kids to summer camps and other groups?
Having those open discussions with them on their age level. So talking to them about how some of this might be scary, that in the beginning it was masks that were scary. Now maybe people without masks are kind of scary for kids. So having those open discussions with them, allowing the kids to come to you as a parent when they're feeling overwhelmed and not being afraid to say things like depression, anxiety, suicide, that saying those words doesn't cause those things to happen.
And when you're trying to manage anxiety or stress or any sort of emotional dysfunction, and I don't mean that in a pejorative way, but just not a normal function of our emotions, when is it time to see someone and to get help?
With everything I say, when it's interfering with your daily life. So when you're not able to function as well at work because you're having difficulty concentrating because you're worrying too much, when you're not able to sleep, when you're turning to more substance use, when there's a notice changed in your behavior, that's when it's time to go see someone, that when you're not functioning as you have before.
And very quickly, if you notice someone in your life that's not functioning properly, how do you have that conversation with them that it may be time for them to go see someone?
Yep. Being open, as I said before, saying suicide doesn't cause suicide. So saying, I've noticed that you aren't coming out as much as you used to. Have you been feeling depressed? Have you thought about harming yourself? It might be time to talk to someone else. I've talked with you a lot. I can be your support so much, but it might be time to talk to a professional.
All right. And those professionals can be found at Oakland Family Services. You can find them at oaklandfamilyservices.org. Emily Mandigo, clinical supervisor, Day 1 at Oakland Family Services. Thank you so much for your time and your insight this morning.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome.